or he's just going to catch up and you're not going to get a lead out of it. It's just going to be a completely unnecessary risk. Because right now, as far as worker supply goes, he's a bit ahead. He's 14 drones ahead, but his army supply, it's not. He's too far behind in tech, really. He is getting 3 mutalisks out, but he needs more, especially to keep up with a marine tank composition. You want, 14 mutalisks with 1-0 upgrades, so that you can just fly in, snipe a siege tank, fly out, fly in, snipe a siege tank, fly out, and just try to cripple it as much as possible for your Zerglings and your Banelings to roll in. And does he have a Baneling nest up yet? I'm actually surprised to see that he doesn't. I think if Goky got maybe 2 more tanks out and then just pushed, he could probably end the game. These Zergling numbers aren't that much. He doesn't have vision, or well, he would need to clean up the Zergling first, but then he could just literally just contain the Zerg on 3 bases, which is a very bad situation to be in as Zerg, especially since Goky looks like he's going to be trying to fortify his gold right now. So if Goky can get on even basis with the Zerg and then just maintain that, Goky's going to be fine. The Mutas are finally going in for a harass. It's going to be way too late though. Missile turrets are already up and about. This is actually really nice missile turret spread. I like this a lot. They really can't harass any of these units for free. Although they are going to go for camping production a little bit, but here come the Marines and they're going to scare them off. So we do have 2 missile turrets here, and all the Marines are out here. He did just snipe a tank, which is a move that I like. Actually surprised that Goky's letting these Marines chase so far. That's not the best thing to do. These mutalisks are just going to be able to fly in and clean them off. If he was paying attention. Oh, yep, there we go. So he just traded, what, 6 Marines for a mutalisk, which I guess is more of an even trade than anything else. And Goky did go for a Hellion drop, but those are still Red Flame Hellion. Those are still Red Flame Hellions. There's really nothing to be scared about. And I'm actually surprised they didn't end up trying to put some money into that Infernal Pre-Igniter to get those Hellions up to a point, because he could have picked off a lot more drones up here, and he might have even been able to lift off and just pick up drones over here, because there was really nothing he could have done. It looked like there was just a kind of a medium army trade there, but as long as this command center goes up, Goky is going to be so far ahead, because he's going to be on even bases, and the Zerg really does not want that situation, especially if the Terran gets a gold up, because Terrans, all they really need is that really, really high mineral count to get those Marines out. Is Goky teching up to Thors yet? Yeah, I think he is going to start going for Thors, and there's the first one in production. So, this is not going as well as I think it could be for Zerg, although he is getting those Banelings out. And he is getting 1-1 upgrades for his melee, and I think he already has flyer attacks rank 1 for his mutalisks. Although this mutalisk count is way too small. I like this plan. He's going for a couple of snipes on Marines that are just going to be completely free due to rally points. But here come the other Marines that are going to try and clean this up. Whoa! I thought he was going to be able to snipe off that siege tank for a second there. I'm surprised that he's committing so heavily. He just lost the mutalisk for barely anything, basically. I mean, he did some damage to his tech lab, but that's not going to matter all that much. I'm also amazed that Zerg isn't knocking down these rocks and going for an expansion here, because he really needs to be a base ahead if he's going to go for this mutalisk heavy play, because mutalisks aren't the most cash effective units. They're kind of units that you can just throw at your enemy and destroy his worker line over and over again and hopefully just win by harassment. And it would appear that this siege tank is definitely going to go down. There's going to be no saving that. And, that's kind of a danger of just having a siege tank out there kind of left out to dry. I would have liked to see some Marines up there, but I can kind of understand why they weren't there, just because of how close it was to the creep and how Banelings could have just rolled down and destroyed them. It looks like we are going to have the precursors to an engagement here. Rubejuice really needs to be teching up to a hive right now and getting Broodlords out. That's the unit he needs, and he's going to need to break especially since Thors are out for Goky right now. A Thor Marine heavy army, you're just not going to be able to stop that with more Mutalisks, or even really, if you wait for those Mutalisks, you're not even really going to be able to stop them with Infestors. And this trade is actually kind of in Goky's favor, just because he didn't lose his base. As long as Goky can just stay ahead in a base, he's going to be perfectly fine for the rest of the game. Because Rubejuice is just getting his 4th right now at 18 minutes, and he really needed that as soon as Terran started to get his 3rd. Rubejuice is also going for his 2-2 melee upgrades. He needs that flyer attack level 2. He should be going for a hive right now. I'm actually extremely surprised that he isn't. He's also not fully saturated at his main. There's a lot of minor improvements in Rubejuice's play. He also should be trying to knock down these destructible rocks to get improved movability in between his bases, although I guess that can kind of act as a two-edged blade, because at this point Terran kind of needs to choose to commit to this base or to the main base of Rubejuice. So I can completely understand not knocking down these rocks, just because you don't want him to be able to leapfrog that siege tank line and just keep going into your main. It looks like Rubejuice is trying to convert into heavy infestor play, which if you're going to go for a heavy infestor play, you really can't spend, 700 gas on Mutalisks, and he probably ended up spending 2,000, gas. Sorry for coughing there. But, you just can't really, you can't drop that much money into Mutalisks and then expect to have a good enough infestor count to blow your enemy out. It's just not going to happen. It does look like we have an 8 Marine medevac drop going on for Goky. It's going to get spotted though, and hopefully cleaned up by Rubejuice. He's not paying attention at this point. Even when those 2 Marines ran by. Looks like the fungal is going to get off. There it is. I'm not big on throwing up infested Terrans there. You really need another fungal. Oh, that infestor's going to go down for free. That is awful for Rubejuice. Especially, are these infestors going to go down for free too? Up there, the second infestor gets his spell off, but he just lost 2 infestors and traded them for 6 Marines, which isn't worth it. And it looks like Goky is going to be moving in for the push, and I don't think Rubejuice has enough to deal with this. Especially if he just runs lines in like that. He was not ready to engage. I should not have started that fight. I think he might delay this with his amount of infestors, but he's moving way too far up. He needs to have those farther back. He should have gone for the narrow parasite on the tank, not on these Thors, because Thors are great at absorbing damage. They're not so great at doing damage, and he really needed those heavy damage dealers. And it looks like his Greater Spire is on the way, but I think this hatchery is going to get sniped. The Corruptors are coming out, and these Lings are just going to run into the siege tank and die. Yeah, there's quite a bit of sloppiness coming out of Rubejuice right now. And this hatchery is definitely going to go down. He's not going to have anything to deal with that. I think he's trying to make a really early late game conversion to Broodlords, but they're just not going to be out in time. Especially if he keeps morphing these Banelings and just eating into the number of Broodlords he can produce. I think that if he just sacked this gold right now, and canceled all these Banelings, sacked the golds, pulled all the way back, built like 6 Broodlords, he would be able to push this back. But he's not getting ready to do that. And this is just a very bad situation for Rubejuice, and I think this is going to be a GG at any moment. Yeah, there it is, GG, and Rubejuice has left the game. Alright guys, well, this is the 6th game that I have brought you, and I'm still enjoying casting, I'm still enjoying it. I am getting a lot more replays, so thank you guys for that. I'm probably going to try to only cast 1 from each person, and I'm going to have to make a request that overly chatty games don't really get sent in. I mean, I'm okay with people like bantering back and forth for the first minute and maybe the last minute, but if it's just a constant stream of chat, it's really just a distraction from the actual game. Thank you to Goky for sending in this replay, and man, you can follow me on youtube.com/boisteroussc2 and email any games that you want casted by me into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Anyway, guys, this is Boisterous signing out.